What's up, Kings fans? I'm back in the film room and ready to do what I do best and overanalyze some Summer League basketball. As the self-proclaimed president of the Keon Ellis fan club, sorry to Brendan and Drew, I feel as if it is my duty to highlight what Keon did here. I may have played a small role in getting Kings fans a little bit too excited about Keon, but for the most part I still think just as highly about him, if not even higher. I think he showed a lot of positive signs of development over the summer, and though he may not get the opportunity with the Kings and the talent that they already have on the roster, I truly believe Keon could be an impactful NBA player as early as right now. So without further ado, let's hop into the film room. In my previous videos, I would constantly rave about Keon's ability as a point of attack defender, but it was his contributions off ball that really caught my eye during Summer League. So much so to where I might go as far as saying that he provides more value now as a team defender rather than he does on ball. He looks like an NFL defensive back in the way that he reads and anticipates passes, and this was evident a ton when defending in transition. While most players getting back prioritize either rim protection or stopping the ball, Keon loves to scan the floor looking to blow up transition opportunities altogether. Here Keon notes he's in the blind spot of the ball handler, so when he picks up his dribble and pivots back into Keon's direction, watch him explode from his zone help position to break up the kickout pass. Whenever a player picks up the dribble, Keon is looking to step into passing lanes and always take away that first read. The anticipation and reaction time combination that Keon possesses is nuts. Look at where Keon is when Orlando Robinson picks up his dribble looking for this backdoor, and how quickly Keon explodes from the weak side to blow it up at the basket. He isn't afraid to make these gambles, abandoning his schematic position whenever he sees the chance to make a break on the ball. It isn't necessarily his job here to sink down low, but he can forecast his drop-off pass being made just based off the simplicity of the read for the offensive player just with two drawn to the ball. Even when Keon turns his back to the ball to take away a cutter here, he flips back around in the nick of time to be there on the catch in the short roll and swipes at the ball to force a turnover. He deciphers actions so quickly on the fly, here guarding on the perimeter but seamlessly switching once he sees the cutter get free, then communicates to his teammate to preserve an advantage being created. Keon's instincts and reflexes are second to none, which makes him an incredible defensive playmaker. He causes so much havoc in passing lanes with his active hands, and windows that may look open are erased quickly. These active hands have turned Keon into a turnover-creating wizard. He times his swipes perfectly, anticipating and being there the moment players show the ball. Keon loves to overplay gap help when he's one pass away, keeping both of his hands up and ready to jab at the ball when players are funneled his way. Normally players here will simply stunt and recover, but Keon has the confidence to make much more aggressive pokes, looking to make plays on the ball. He can afford to play this more aggressively on the perimeter style because of how quick he can recover back to his man. Even with how deep he loads the gap in passing lanes, he can still be there on the catch when players kick out and maintain disciplined closeouts. Look at this closing speed and the amount of ground Keon covers here. His job on the weak side is to X out on the skip pass, and he accelerates to this contest in an instant. And how about this change of direction here, sinking in down low, then having to turn around and close out across the court in a matter of seconds. But with all that being said, Keon is still his usual pest-like self when defending at the point of attack. He gives ball handlers hell with his ball pressure, oftentimes picking up 94 feet and forcing multiple changes of direction, delaying teams getting into their offensive sets. And yes, teams still run offense even in Summer League. Even backpedaling in transition, watch the way Keon flips his hips and strides with the offensive player to avoid giving up any depth. Those displays of anticipation and instincts translate to the on-ball aspect as well, where he can predict drives and beat players to spots on a consistent basis. I was impressed by the improved strength that Keon showed in these games. Though he still has a slender build, he was much more adept at taking contact with his chest and not giving up any ground. The way in which he hounds players in the perimeter is most prominent in his screen navigation. Watch how he always gets skinny fighting through screens, using that front arm to stay attached to the ball handler and managing to stay in these plays. He does a great job at eliminating space off screens, and again just never lets the offensive player get in front of him, so no true advantage is ever being created. This level of activity is almost impossible to deal with for an offense. Even on multiple rescreens, Keon gets skinny through each one and takes away absolutely any space for the ball handler. And this willingness to harass players in the perimeter and fight through screens makes Keon quite the illegal screen merchant as well. But the real progression in Keon's game was evident on the offensive side of the ball, where his handle and decision making have already shown massive improvements from year 1 to year 2. He looked comfortable receiving outlets and operating out of the open court, and more times than not was finding the open man on the perimeter or hitting a cutter inside. Being able to make these easier reads have made him more versatile in attacking off the catch. Keon can make these easy line-of-sight passes on the flight, adjusting in the air and making his decision in an instant. Here, instead of forcing a congested drive, he's recognizing the strong side overhelp off of Keegan Murray, and he's hitting Keegan in stride while he's drifting to the corner. And here, when Keon is cut off and leaves his feet under the basket, watch the weak side defender take away that first read to the corner, but Keon is able to audible in the air and laser this one to the wing instead. It's clear the Kings are trying to develop Keon's point guard skills, giving him plenty of reps as the initiator within the offense and pick and roll opportunities. In Summer League, I thought he handled the burden pretty well, showing some nice chops here and making solid decisions. I love here when the Kings run Keon off a pin down instead of their zoom action. Watch how Keon recognizes this weak side defender committing to his tag on the roll man, so he's able to punish the coverage and hit Edwards on the wing. Keon's also made huge strides as a scorer. Though he still projects to be very much a 3-and-D player at the next level, he's better at getting to his spots off the bounce and looks like a much improved finisher at the basket. He showcased his soft touch once he gets into the paint and did a decent job at handling the traffic inside. Being able to attack closeouts is an important skill for specialists to add to their arsenal, and Keon was more confident than ever in that aspect. He wasted no time in recognizing aggressive closeouts and looked to get downhill before help could come. Here he's using a very slight pump fake to get that defender in the air, then it's a blow by and the easiest basket he had all day. Keon is also developing the in-between area of his game. Here with the big and a drop coming off a screen, he isn't hesitant about stepping into a wide open mid-range jumper. This time he does an even better job in process and manipulation. With ball pressure applied, he comes off the screen tight enough to get the defender on his hip, then jump stops with both defenders anticipating a pass over the top, and now he has the space to pull another midi. Look at the sharpness of this crossover to shift his defender to his left, manipulating him into a flipped screen and freeing Keon up to hop into a 3. Will Keon ever be a true creator at the next level? Probably not, but he really worked in this area of his game in Summer League. It's hard not to be impressed with some of the glimpses we saw out of Keon in terms of hitting off-balance shots, fadeaways, and stepbacks. He still isn't the shiftiest player with the ball in his hands, but tightening his handle has really helped smooth out some of his game off the dribble. The catch and shoot game is easily the most translatable offensive skill for Keon, and his shot looked excellent in Vegas. He maintains a good base, gets great elevation on his shot, and has a very repeatable motion, especially off the catch. He shot 38% from deep across the 4 Vegas games, and I completely buy his shot going forward. The only real issues I saw in Keon's offensive game were the occasional moments of indecision or being out of control, which was predominantly off the dribble where he's still growing in comfort level. He tried to force some things around the basket that weren't there when sometimes it's best to just reset or kick back out to the perimeter. He'll pick up his dribble in bad spots, but again he really won't be asked to create much on the next level, so I'm not really worried about any of these habits. As always, thank you guys for watching and supporting the channel. Be on the lookout for a Sasha Vezenkov video within the next week or so, then I'll be getting into the player season review sometime after that. But until then, take care.